drinking a coffee with Melissa and Connie.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you guys?
Good.
We're doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sun is shining.
You just saw Beyonce. I did a Pilates class.
You saw Beyonce?
In London.
Oh wow. How was
Not
that?
like on the streets.
Okay.
That would have been fun.
On stage.
No, yeah.
Where
on
she
stage.
belongs.
Yes. Yeah. No,
How
it's
was
great.
that?
Divine, as
Yeah?
always.
Divine as
She's
always.
great. She's great.
Because you are also in that scene, right?
I wish I was in the same scene as
aspire to be.
Beyonce.
Aspire to be closer to Beyonce every day. Is that a dream?
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be a reality though. But no, we run like a women and gender non-conforming people collective
You have to
in the
say that
music
again.
industry.
You have to say that again. More energy, more passion. More passion.
We run a collective for women and gender non-conforming people in the music industry because there needs to be more of us, and I think the community is there, but we just saw there was a reason for us to become closer.
Yeah, there's such a gap in the music industry between men and women, and the men are always helping each other out and giving each other tips and resources, and we're like, wait a second, we want to participate too. So we wanted to form something specifically here in Amsterdam because Melissa and I are both expats, and we wanted to find other people to connect with and also give back to the music community that has been a big part of our lives for a really long time.
Okay, so let's take a step back. Music has been a big part of both of your lives, and you found each other here, and then you realized you wanted to form this community.
Yeah.
But how did music have such a big impact in your lives?
I started dancing when I was quite young, and ever since then I felt a lot of expression for myself via music, and because I grew up with very Chinese parents, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a doctor. And then when I graduated university, I got my first job in the biology space, and I was like, this ain't it. This is not it. And then I quit my job, moved to Los Angeles, and was the person working at festivals who have to lock and unlock all dressing rooms for artists. And they're like, we want Gatorade. And I'm like, okay. And you bring back Gatorade, and they're like, we only want the blue one. And I was like, oh, okay, well, here are the blue ones.
Blue M&Ms also after that?
Yeah, exactly. But it was something that I was really passionate about for a really long time, and was quite lucky that I was able to find a job in LA shortly after that in artist management.
Nice.
And I was in artist management for 10 years, and then in the pandemic was thinking that I needed to change things up a little bit. Have lived my whole life in California, and then thought, no, I'm gonna give this city a shot. So moved here, met Melissa, and we were thinking that the city is such a heart for music, but is missing this community. And we wanted to, we kind of kept waiting for a little bit. We're like, okay, maybe it should be someone who's Dutch, who's starting it. And then a year went by, and we're like, well, you know what, fuck it, let's do it. Like, let's just do it. Between you and me, we form a 5-year-old who can speak Dutch.
Yeah,
That's cool. And where did you grow up?
So I'm originally from Scotland. I lost the accent now. But yeah, and then I actually originally studied international relations, but I was always very musical. I played the drums and the piano, and I sang when I was younger, but I never really thought that I could have a career in the music industry, because there's something that we talk about where it's kind of an industry where unless you're in it, you don't really know an awful lot about it. And I think that's something that we want to also encourage as well, as a lot of like younger people, just kind of showing them, actually these are so many, there are so many different jobs that you can do in the music industry.
Yeah.
And then I studied in Scotland, and then I moved to London, like most people in the UK do, because that's where you go to get a job. And then I accidentally applied for an internship in Amsterdam, with like a branding kind of agency, influencer marketing agency, and then they were in the same building as this music distributor.
Cool.
And
Which
then
one?
Fuga.
Fuga?
Yeah.
Fagali.
Fuga.
Fuga.
Yeah.
There's a Dutch G in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuga. Yeah.
And it's like an independent, and it's actually where we both work.
That's where you worked or still work?
That's where we still work. So that's where we met each other. Because we do this alongside.
You do this alongside.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, we do it in our not very much spare time.
Spare time. So you really feel passionate about the ideals that are behind it. And
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about how do you notice that men know how to find each other,
Yes.
but women, and how do you specify the other broad group that you approach?
Gender nonconforming.
Gender nonconforming. What's that?
Anyone who doesn't fit in your traditional binary
Yeah.
definitions. So
Cool.
you are however you define you want to be, and if you haven't found a safe space or a place to belong, you're welcome in our doors.
That's so cool. Wow. So you realized, I see this in the music industry and there needs to come something, and you were like, okay, let's wait another year and someone's gonna stand up, and it didn't happen. And you realized, let's
just
do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
How
I think
cool.
as well, there's a lot of collectives that are either quite maybe focused on like a particular thing. So there's obviously Amsterdam, the Netherlands is known for a lot of dance music. So there is quite a few like women in dance collectives that we know of here, but to my knowledge anyway, we didn't really find anything that was broad enough to kind of be all inclusive. And something that we've done in the sort of year and a half that we've been doing this is we want to showcase that Amsterdam and the Netherlands is not only dance music, like it has a great dance scene, but there's also such a rich like hip hop industry. There's such a cool indie alt industry as well. There's a massive classical scene, and and there's women and in all of them, and how do we bring them all together as well? So that's something that we've been quite focused on showcasing.
And how's that been going?
It's been going.
It was a lot. We've learned a lot in the past year and a half. And
Is it like a foundation or?
Yeah, so we set ourselves up as a foundation, and we should also mention that we are part of like a global collective as well. So and the global collective has been around for like 10 years. And then there's like different local factions of it, and there was no one running the Amsterdam one. So that's when Connie says like we were kind of waiting for someone Dutch to stand up and do it, and then we put ourselves forward for it. But yeah, we have Connie made a document that says things we have learned, and it's like all maybe the stuff that maybe didn't go like as we'd planned, or the stuff that we would like never do again.
That's really good to learn from your mistakes.
Absolutely.
It's a long document.
It's a long document.
But
You learn so much from it.
It's been going well. I think one of our first biggest initiatives that we did was a Women in Hip Hop mentorship program. And
Mentorship program.
Yeah, so we were working alongside Johnny Walker Black Label, and they had done this event called Pass the Mic in May of last year, and as part of that initiative, they wanted to have a mentorship program with us that we helped organize and put together. And in that process, you have two people who didn't grow up here, who don't speak Dutch, trying to learn very quickly about the Dutch hip hop world. And I feel like learning that culture, it took us having to crawl through LinkedIn, finding every single person at every single label, reaching out to them, getting introductions, having other people introduced via, and it was really fruitful in the end. And to this, like, if you look at the demographic of people who were attending our events before and after this program, there weren't very many people coming from the hip hop sector before, and now there's quite a lot more from hip hop who are coming to all of our events. So it definitely paid off. But we started off with a challenge because I don't know anything about the hip hop scene here, and we were like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
We gotta dive
So
and
a
find
bit of
people.
a closed community, I also
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, that's also.
And there's very little women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they are there, but
Yeah.
they don't get so much airtime or.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we got a lot of feedback saying, because we did, so it was like a 3-month mentorship program, and we did a dinner at the beginning, and then we did a dinner at the end with like everyone. And I think that was the bit that we got most feedback on, that people just loved. And I mean, I feel like there's this certain type of energy when you bring women together that you don't really get anywhere else. And I sort of always feel, I'm always saying to my husband, like, I feel a little bit bad that men don't ever get to experience that, because there is something like very magical in that you can't really explain or put your finger on. It just feels so like
Wholesome.
exactly,
Yes.
it's so wholesome, and just like you've sort of known people longer
Yeah.
than you have, and yeah, so the dinners were great. I think that's all. Then we're gonna try to replicate that in
So you do mentorship, you do dinners, you do events. What else?
Workshops.
Workshops. What is
Yeah.
in the workshops?
It changes from quarter to quarter. So we did one in January about creating healthier habits, because everyone has their New Year's resolutions in January. So we were like, oh, maybe we can do something about how to make that sustainable, because a lot of times when people are creating new resolutions, it's like, you can't do this, you can't do this,
Yeah.
you can't do this. And it's like, no, restrictive.
Yeah.
But the lady who came in, Sally, she was like, let's flip that.
Yeah.
Let's think of the things that we can do more of.
Yeah.
We can eat more nutrient rich.
Yeah.
We can sleep more. We can do more things that bring us joy.
Yeah.
So that was a really good way to start off the year. She was telling us about probiotics and how to take care of our gut and what to look for when we go to the bathroom.
yeah.
And then we had a panel on safety and what does safety mean, because it's such a hot topic that people throw around, or like safety in the music industry, but what does it actually mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah, and then the one that we have in September that we're both really looking forward to is unconscious bias. I think a lot of what we really believe in requires the participation of men. We can all talk and come together, but if there's actually something that we want to change, it's going to require the participation of men. And there's just all these biases that we aren't aware of and they aren't aware of, especially in the workplace, of how they address things, and we need to train them on how to recognize that, or at least listen maybe when they aren't aware.
Yeah.
So that'll be 50 spots in September. Every woman brings a male colleague.
Wow.
Half the spots we will be inviting people from all the major music companies in Amsterdam, and then the other half will open up for applications.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Because do you feel like you have to work together? Is that something that's important to you guys, that you have to, you cannot cancel? My experience has been like, sometimes I just want to,
You're like, you're out.
I don't want to ever talk to you again.
Yeah.
Just leave. But we need each other, and we need to
Yeah.
find a way to work together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And make people more aware indeed of these these biases. And
Yeah.
do you also feel like it's the other way around, that we have biases?
100%. I absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think this is the thing. I think everyone has bias, whether they want to admit it to others or even to themselves about everything, because it's just how you're brought up in society.
That's
that's how you walk
also,
around.
right? Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it's just making sure that you're aware of them when they pop up, and not to act on them.
Yeah.
And I think as well.
Do you have an example of biases? Because I can think of many, but I'm curious, what kinds do you?
I think my main one that actually comes up a lot when I'm interviewing people for a job is not to be really conscious of not liking someone because they remind you of you, and that's something that I think a lot of people maybe not only in interviews but just like in life, like of course where you find a connection with someone and you're like, oh great, like this is the right person for the job, or this is the person I want to be friends with, but actually that's actually an unconscious bias. So I think that's my main one.
Yeah, I think you have to also remember that the solution for one group of people is not going to be
Yeah.
the solution for another group of people. So even though maybe a white woman feels a little bit more heard at work, that same application to a problem is not going to apply to a woman of color. And just recognizing, like we were saying, everyone has their own context. And that it's not ever going to be a one-size solution for everything. And what stemmed a lot of this too was a book that I had read at the beginning of the year, and it was just pointing out biases that I have never even really thought about. Like, for instance, the size of bathrooms in public places. Like, you can't have the equal amount of square meters for a men's bathroom and also a woman's bathroom, because if you think about women, they're often the caretakers. So they're taking children to the bathroom, they're taking elderly to the bathroom, and so their time that they need in the bathroom is automatically double. And there's more people because they're taking someone else to the bathroom. And then at what point in time, how many of them are on their period? So that's going to take even more time. And so it's like, you don't even think about that. Like, you think of designing a building and you're like, okay,
everything is equal.
exactly. Yeah, I'm going to have the same number of space, like same square meters of space for a men's bathroom as a woman's bathroom, and think that that's going to solve the queuing line. It's not. And so there's all these things.
All these things, even in how things are built.
Yeah.
And with your example, it made me think of that mostly like people in power are men, and they hire or don't hire other people. And if you resemble them more, then the chances are way higher that you're getting a job, right? But how are you going to tell these men in power? Because I think that the people that will come to your event, and I think it's really nice that you have this rule or idea or just suggestion that a woman can bring a man to the event. I love that. But I still think, like, with the ones that need to hear it, how are they gonna listen?
Yeah, I do think that unfortunately there's always going to be people who don't want to listen. And that's not fine, but then I think, okay, you'll hopefully not be in the workplace soon, so.
That's a
but I think the thing that we've also come across a lot is a lot of men saying that they want to help and they want to be an ally, but they're just not sure how. And they're also a little bit, the ones who really want to be an ally, they're just unsure how to step in and what's the right thing to say. And a friend of ours who was also saying that I kind of don't want to sort of step in and kind of be the knight in shining armor, because then because then that's also not what women want either. So I think it's just about giving them the education and giving them actually a space where they can be honest about okay, but I said this and I didn't really understand why that was bad, or why should I have said this instead of this. Because I do think, and really understandably, and I think all women do this because it is frustrating, is that we kind of like shut men down a lot, or we get angry. And definitely there's always like a time and a place for anger, in my opinion, because I think women should always express when they're angry. But I do think that we need to be open to having these conversations with men, because like what Connie said earlier, it's if it's just women in the room, we all know the issues, and it's just like we're just an echo chamber. So we actually need to just drag them in into the conversation and say it in a way that they are willing to hear and understand. And I think for the most part, like we have been. It's like most of the men that we've spoken to, even at very high levels, have been very receptive to us as well.
Because do you know some of the numbers, like how unsafe are women in the industry, or how much are they excused from things?
I don't know the exact numbers, but we recently, on that safety panel with Task Force Go, there was a panelist from Task Force Go on it. It is very striking still, and about how many women are dealing with just harassment of some form or another on the daily. And Task Force Go is it was formed after all of the stuff from The Voice kind of went public, and they've been doing research year after year on the percentage of women who are still not feeling safe, where it's at a venue or at work or in a studio, and they've got all those numbers.
Yeah. It's still striking.
It's very striking still.
But I think as well, even you just have to think, if we were in a room full of women right now and we asked, when was the last time you felt unsafe? Everyone would know immediately when that was.
Yeah. That's enough. We don't need any words.
Or like, hey, put your hand up if you've ever been sexually harassed. Like, it's insane. Like,
louder for people in the back.
Like there would probably, unfortunately, be no one in that room that would put their hand up. So it's
how crazy that we still have to, that you guys have to unite, and it's from a good heart, but that the government is not. Putting more effort in it.
It's hard because there's so many layers to it. I think that's sometimes why we feel a little overwhelmed, or it's very daunting, because how do you can't just fix it with one solution, because you have the context of studio spaces and the languages that people are using to describe women artists, and that's already quite harmful. But then you have festivals and clubs where people are drinking and people are getting a little bit sloppy. And it's a hard thing to tackle.
Yeah. And it's also a place where you have to work really, really hard to become something, because many people want have a career in music industry. So it has all the ingredients for disaster, actually, for harassment.
And one of the things that we spoke about on the panel was the reason for maybe why there are so many cases of harassment and unsafe, not safe spaces, is because the music industry is very casual. It's very, very, very informal. And one action item that can be taken is that it is up to this next generation to make it more formal. You can make it more formal without losing the vibe or without losing the creativity. Like we're approaching a point in time where it's okay for an artist to say, hey, when we go into the studio, I don't want any beer or drugs. I want it to be a completely sober space. Are you okay with that? But if you can say it formally beforehand, then you don't get put in a situation where you're like, oh, I'm finally in the room with this writer, and I have no option because I need to be in this room.
I hope so too. That this generation is gonna stand up, and that we are aware of the fact that you don't lose anything of the creative part. But it's also people are gonna say that it's gonna make it empty, it's gonna take all the rock and roll out.
I mean, but also I have to say, like, there is a lot of, I think Gen Z get a really hard, like, shitty rep from companies, like, because they're obviously now coming into the workforce. I love them. Like, I think that they are really gonna change a lot, because I think they don't take any shit. So I think if anyone's gonna come in and be like, this is what I want, and if this is not gonna be how it is, then I'm not working with you. Like, especially if you're an artist. So,
and there's so many more resources available in the music industry now that I think we can start to shake that scarcity mindset where it's like, this is my only opportunity, and if I'm not in that room, then I'm not gonna get my break. There's so many more ways to connect with people and to write that I hope that with the shaking off of the scarcity mindset, we can be a bit more formal of an industry.
Interesting. And how do you guys look at the fact that, like, I feel like it's been like 20 years that this shift has been coming, or like maybe even less, maybe 10 years, that people are less scared to talk about what they're going through. And I feel like that there's also a lot of pushback from the status quo, because they feel like, what the fuck's happening? And then that's why we're in this really turbulent time right now. Do you feel like we're moving towards a world where the pushback is going to be less, and then everybody's going to be more aware of the intersectionality, that if you're a black woman, you have such a harder time than a white woman, and then compared to a guy, and compared to being queer, and all those intersectionalities. I feel like we're in an era where people are getting to realize it, but when you're in status quo, you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
There's a lot
that's a
of
tough
I have the type of personality where I like to hold on to hope. I think you have to make it through life, because otherwise it can be quite heartbreaking. But I do think through education it'll get better. But as with all progress, I don't think it's linear.
No.
And as of all things with life, you're aiming for the net positive in the right direction.
Yeah.
If there's going to be a lot of like going backwards, going forwards, going backwards, going forwards, but I think that as long as we hold on to that hope that things will get better, the net positive will be there in time. Yeah.
And I think there's also, like, Connie's very hopeful, and I also like to think that I am too, but I think also because of like what you were saying, that things are getting better in some ways, but I think then people who have always had all the rights and all the power are feeling
Threatened.
feeling threatened, and I think those people just need to learn how to sit with being uncomfortable, and that's not always a bad thing, and that a lot of education and knowledge, and like they're not losing anything.
No, there's enough space.
They're literally not losing anything.
Well, for them it's gonna feel like that, 100%. Because if you always have everything, to share your everything is gonna mean or feel. Well, we have to teach them that. I'm here with you guys. Well, thank you so much. What is something that you wanna achieve? What is your dream that you wanna achieve with this?
I think one thing that we made a wish list of things that we wanted to achieve, like long term, and I think something that is at the top of that list is we would love to have an award, like an award ceremony for women and gender non-conforming people in the music industry, because there is like they do have, like, the music industry has other award shows like similar to that in other countries, and for example they have the Women in Music Awards in the UK, and I've been I've attended it before, and the atmosphere is just amazing, and I think we would love to get to a place where we can celebrate our community here as well in that way, and kind of shine a light on people who maybe wouldn't have otherwise. So that's top of our list, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's a little counter to Dutch culture to celebrate and be loud about your own achievements, but we'll do that. We'll celebrate you, because life is a little too short.
Do you feel Dutch already? Is this?
Yes and no. Certain things yes, certain things no. I think I love the directness. I love just saying exactly what is on the hand, and like
very
un-Californian.
I know,
and
but
also it's very not American, not British either, to be really say what you think.
But
we love it.
I love that. What I will never get down with, I think, is a cold lunch.
Cold lunch.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
I love a sandwich.
I love a sandwich, but
Broodje pindakaas.
Not enough. Yeah.
No, you have a hot lunch every day.
A hot lunch every day.
I would fall asleep after.
Let's get a coffee. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for giving us the time and the space.
Yes.
Thanks for
Love
taking
it.
up space.
Yeah.